Welcome to the Excel Purpose Show with Comscore.
Today we have with us author of global influence and international communication expert. Welcome, Jose.
I have to say, I do many podcasts, but this has been by far the greatest introduction ever. So thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, Carms. Hello, people listening. Woo.
Well, look, this is the first time we've met. I'm actually introduced to you by someone in my book club, Christina. She's had lots of good things about you, and she told me I got to read your book. So she's been telling me to reach out. So here we are. I'm excited to dive in.
I'm ready. I woke up ready today because I'm mindful of the time difference. But, I've had a couple of coffees. I did my morning ritual, so I'm pumped up, I hope.
Yeah? What's your morning ritual, man?
Well, you know what? It changes depending on the day. But the last couple of days, I've been a little bit under the weather. So about 2 minutes ago, literally, I played some music and I was playing Titanium by David Guetta, the David Guetta version. And I just went boom, boom, boom. And here I am. Because I knew you were going to be high energy. So I had to get ready as well.
Music totally brings us into state though, right? Like I do that too. I pump some Beyonce.
There we go. It's the music plus, I start thinking about the good things about my life and I connected with my grandparents and I'm right there.
Yeah. You're very close to your grandparents, are you?
Well, I was. They are not, they passed away years ago, but they were a great influence. And yes, when I want to connect to pure love, passion, understanding, connection, all of it, that's the best place for me to go to. And it puts me in a very well grounded position to do whatever.
You have a very zen, you do actually have a very zen and grounded energy. That's interesting. I love it how when you can feel people's energy, even like across Zoom. Tell me about the relationship between you and your grandparents or any other great influences in your life that shape who you are today.
Well, I can start with my grandparents. I'm originally from Venezuela, so I was brought up until I was about 5, 6. Mainly my grandparents took care of me because my parents were working. That's how it tends to go in many countries for many families. Yeah. And I developed that connection. And one thing, my granddad and my grandma, they were very different. My grandma was just giving me love all the time. It didn't matter what I did, everything was right. So I think she spoiled me a little bit. But then I took away the loving part. It doesn't matter what you do, I love you no matter what. And then that's something that I bring to human relationships and connection. Then my granddad on the other side.
Wait, before you go there, how does she show you the love? Does she actually verbally say it, or does she, buy you things? Like, how does she actually show love to you? I'm just wondering, because I have a very different upbringing. Like both my grandma are not the type that you describe. So I love hearing how people, how they felt love.
Yeah, of course. Look, my grandma, it started in the morning. So I would wake up around 6 a.m. I still like to wake up early nowadays. And I would smell porridge, recently made porridge. So that was the first thing. So I would walk downstairs and there she was. Good morning, darling. Big kiss, your porridge is ready. Do you want to wait for your granddad? And I would go, yeah, I'll have it with granddaddy. Perfect. And that's how the day would begin. Then it was about saying, but showing as well.
So your grandparents are very loving too, then, by the sounds of it, like the relationship between them.
Well, the relationship between them was a different story. That's why, I've learned not to get involved in relationships, Carms, because, you would see them loving each other because my granddad with her was incredibly affectionate. So kisses and I love you, darling, and you're the best thing in my life. And then she would go a bit, it was like a cat and a dog. So he would go all over her and she would be like, yeah. Okay, enough of that. But then you will see them together. And it's interesting, Carms, because when, that relationship was so intense and special. They were married for over 50 years. And when my granddad passed away, my grandma had struggled with dementia for many years. And she wouldn't even recognize him. I'm sorry I jumped until the end, but we can go back to the beginning if you like at some point. And she wouldn't recognize anybody.
Wow.
But she did remember the presence of the man. And the man is not around anymore. Where is this man? Where is this man? And a couple of days after my granddad passed away, she passed away. And she was very healthy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it goes
I'm
beyond the
getting like all
mind.
these goosebumps on my body. I'm like,
Yeah, me
that's
too.
very
Ooh.
bittersweet. I'm sorry to hear
Yeah,
that, but at the same, wow, at the same time, that's
that's life.
that's like romantically sweet in so many ways. It's almost like that, you know, like the Hollywood drilled in Romeo and Juliet type story. Like that's very sweet.
Well, Carms, you are with a Latin American today, so you can expect a bit of drama and passion and things like this.
Is that so? Latin America, so is that culturally everyone is quite affectionate and passionate?
Well, I don't like to generalize because then you find lots of different people within Latin America. But I would say we tend to, yeah, show love physically a lot, okay? Compared to some other cultures. I remember when I came to the UK or when I lived in Sweden, for instance, coming from Venezuela to Sweden, when in Venezuela, I would give, you know, handshake and a hug to my friends every morning. And in Sweden, it would be, hey, hey, that would be it. So yes, I would say in Latin America, we show more, yeah, feelings through words, yes, and through, yeah, the physicality of it. Lots of hugging, lots of kissing.
So did you find that socially you had to readjust your style to not be too touchy? It's kind of funny. I asked you this because I was recently at like a Drew Barrymore show, and you know how she's very loving and touchy, the way she grew up, and then she told us that she got told she needs to like back off from the too much touchy to her guests. Do you feel that too?
Yes, absolutely. And I do a lot of work in the UK and across Europe. Even in Spain, you don't have too much of it. And it's very interesting because there are, it's kind of levels of energy, yeah, with these human interactions. So I came very high from Venezuela. And when I went to Sweden, it was this low in terms of that energy that people show you. They're still caring and great, but it's just the energy they show initially. Wow. But now that I'm living in the UK, when I go to Spain, it's the other way. It's actually they are here and I'm halfway. It's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I need to bring it up a little bit. It's just so
That's
it's
the best.
interesting.
We recalibrate, right? We adapt
Yeah,
based on the environment we're in.
yeah, absolutely.
Tell
It's
me a bit
interesting.
more
It is what
about
it is.
your book, The Global Influence. Where did that come about? Why did you write that book? I'm asking from the perspective of I've been trying to write a book for a while, and that's when I really realized how hard it is to actually write one. Like how much heart goes into it, how much effort goes into it, time, dedication. It's like it's a lot of work. Um, Tell me about how your book and you know what made you write that.
Well, usually people, one of the first things they ask me is, Jose, how long did it take you to write the book? And I always go, I'm 43, but I wrote the book when I was 42. So I say 42 years. That's how long it took me. Because that book is, you know, brings in exactly everything that I've been, you know, through. And what really got me to write it, I was already, you know, wanting in the mindset of writing a book because I wanted to put all of my ideas and make them more unique as well. So work on that original piece. And I had a coaching session with a lady called Maria Franzoni, who coaches speakers in the UK and, well, across Europe and globally, I guess. And she said to me, Jose, I mean, you're missing the trick in some of the things you're doing out there. And I just went, well, what do you mean, Maria? I mean, what is the thing you enjoy the most? Connecting with people, helping them with their communication. Yeah, but what is the unique thing you bring to the table? And I said, well, people say I bring a level of energy. Yes. And where is that energy coming from? That energy is coming from my international interactions. There you go. So bring that international side of you. And that could be a good way to position yourself as a speaker as well within everything else that you do. And after that, I just went, look, I'm writing a book on how to impact people globally through my own experiences and what I've been through. So yeah, here you have it. Global influence. It took me about a year to write it after I had committed to it. And Carms, look, you see gray hair in my beard. Well, some of it, not all of it, but some of it came from writing the book, waking up at 5 a.m., writing for a couple of hours, going to bed late, doing a bit of research, getting in touch with my beta readers, getting feedback. I did like 15 to 20 revisions, as in full manuscript revisions, but it's worth it. I wouldn't change it for the world. It helped me in so many different ways.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to understand why people say like the writing a book is like a healing journey plus a lot of lessons, because I'm like, oh, okay, because putting it on paper is very different than like just thinking about your story. So, oh, amazing. When you say like global influence, have you just traveled around the world a lot, or do you do a lot of that online?
Nowadays, I'm doing more online, but I want to do more, traveling physically face to face. But my journey started when I traveled to Sweden and I lived there as an exchange student. So that was the first time I got exposed to cultures from all over the world, because there were exchange students coming from every single country almost. And well, but I need to rewind a little bit. Everything started, Carms, when I was 5. And I have no idea how this came about. I still don't know. But because when I speak about purpose, I can struggle a little bit explaining that piece. Because I remember my mom is asking me, darling, still calls me baby today. What do you want to do, when you grow up?
Yeah.
I didn't say I want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be an architect, an engineer. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I said to my mom, I want to be international.
Really? That's like an interesting answer. What did you end up studying?
I studied international business.
I was going to ask if you did that, but I didn't. That's, what's funny, because when I was choosing business, that was one of the major, but I didn't really know what it meant. I was like, I considered that, and I'm like, what does it even mean? So it's so interesting to see someone actually did pick that, because I just thought about it and go, no, I don't know what it means. So I'll just do accounting, because this just seemed more, I don't know, traditional, normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that you picked it, because like, I think I was just too scared to pick some. I think I associated work as something that had to be like boring and routine, whereas international just seemed almost like too fun and fluffy, and you couldn't quite grasp what it meant. I think that's why I didn't pick it. But I wish I definitely would do a different take if I got another chance.
Look, we still have got, I think every day we have another chance.
That is true, because we never stop learning.
So there we go, because even when I did international business.
What did you end up doing as a job when you came out of uni with that degree?
Well, I got offered a few opportunities in Venezuela to work in customs, the customs with the duties and all of that.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't like the politics of it, because I did, from the very beginning, I wanted to create a positive impact in that area. So I could see that, there wasn't going to be much of an impact, or at least positive. So I decided to leave the country and I moved to Spain. That's in 2006.
Why Spain?
And well, because my grandma on my dad's side, she was Spanish, and my granddad was Spanish as well. That's on my dad's side. And since things got very difficult in Venezuela, I already had my passport. My dad had already moved to Spain. So I just went, look, Dad, let me just check it out. And yeah, that's how a new part of my life started back in 2006.
I know that you're big on like intentional positive impact. What does that really mean for you? And how can people be more intentional? I think most people is kind of like go through the motion of life, right? Like, and I did that for a long time before I stepped out of corporate. How can people be more intentional?
Well, you need to make the decision, first of all. And that decision is around what is it, generally for me, is what is it that I enjoy doing the most, regardless of whatever else that's going in my life, okay? And for me, it keeps on coming up, and it kept on coming up in the past as I was working on the corporate world as well. I wanted to have positive impact, but I wanted to experience a sense of freedom and being able to create my own version of reality. That's what I wanted. And then I started working on it. And then I wake up.
When you say
and
you
I'm not going
started
to
working
say,
on it,
yeah.
what did you do? Because I know a lot of people would think that, like, yeah, I want to create an impact. I want to go towards what I'm doing. But when you start working on it, what were those steps for you? So we can make it more, you know, realistic
Yes.
for them.
Let's explore the strategy, my strategy. I started because I didn't know exactly what that meant. So very good point. I started asking myself, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? What do I want to do? And different ideas came to mind. What do I want to do? And it was an ongoing thing. Let me keep on looking. What am I enjoying? What can I do? What do I like? Kept on going. And this is the thing about sometimes when we speak about the universe and, you know, destiny, different ways of expressing what that may look like for each one of us. One of the partners of the business I used to work for approached me and they said, we really like the way in which you present, Jose. Why don't you come to our place and give us some training on presentation skills? I had never done that before, okay? But I knew I love presenting because I had already been, I'm reading in the back, NLP, Excel Mind. I had been through my NLP journey myself, about to finish it, I think back then, and then I have that opportunity. And, you know, internally, it felt like something clicked. Oh, this makes sense. Let me explore. And that was the beginning of all of this journey. I started with presentation skills. I do a few more things now, but it took off from that point in which things started to make sense. But it came from questions. What do I want? This is not working. What else do I want? What could I try?
So it's daring. So it's daring to take up the opportunity when it comes, because you could have easily went, oh no, presentation's a bit scary, I'll say no to that, right? Like, I remember those sliding, well, I'm just call them a sliding door moment, right? It's when my manager asked me to do a presentation to like thousands of staff, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that, right? So we always have the chance of these, something that could really open up opportunities, but we may not take it up. Were you already good at presentation skills? Like, were you already like a courageous speaker? Because that's like one of the hardest things, right? Like public speaking.
Was I courageous? I don't know if I was very courageous, but one thing I did, and I started doing through my travels, also when I lived in Sweden. Okay, I need to take you back then, because in Sweden, we were supposed to present and speak about our culture in English and in Swedish.
Oh.
Not in Spanish, so they made it more difficult for me. So I got used to presenting in a different language. Great. So, and I loved it. I really liked it. Then I had my up and downs with the whole thing. But when it came back that day, because I was working in marketing, so I was doing presentations. But my presentations, one of the things I questioned, especially because I was working in engineering, these presentations are boring. I don't care if the audience is full of engineers. Their minds can only take so much information. Let's do something else. When I started doing something else, that could be the courageous piece. That's when these people, you know, came about and said, Jose, come and train our team.
Oh, wow. That's cool. And then where to from there? Where did you go from? How did you take the leap outside of corporate into coaching now? Or is that a long journey?
Well, that was 2017. It's taking me all of this time, still a long way to go. And I guess I'm going to link it to the courageous piece. I'm not a big planner, Carms. I've never been a big planner. I'm grateful that my wife is, okay, because she helps, then we compensate, we balance each other out. But I just went, look, if this is working, I'm going to go out there and start doing more. So a month later, I was creating my website. And I started promoting myself. Yeah. I don't wait. Whenever something clicks, that's one thing. And even today, I don't wait. I just go and implement. Feedback, implement. Whatever comes my way, try.
How do you recognize that piece when it clicks? Is it just a feeling for you? And then how do you push yourself to just implement? I like, easy to say, hard to do for a lot of people. Maybe it just comes naturally to you, but what goes on in your head? Like, what do you tell yourself?
No. Yes, let's explore the strategy again. No, those are very good questions, very important. When it clicked, since I have been asking myself so many questions, it's just like a clear answer. Wow, that answers one of those questions. What do you like doing? Presenting. It gives me flexibility as well, and I can meet different people, and I can start being my own boss, because that was another thing I haven't shared. I wanted to be my own boss since I started my first business when I was 6, selling pens and rubbers in school. So all of these things began to come together, and I just went, this makes sense. So let me do something about it. I need to take an action. What's the next action? Let me see how I can promote myself to get more clients.
How do you stop the negative voice though? When you have this positive voice that's like, okay, this is what we want. Like, this seems like the thing we need to go towards. Do you also have another voice that's like, oh, you know, but I'm unsure about this thing? Do you just suppress it, or like, what do you do when there's this battle? Or is this pretty strong for you? Like your internal compass, let's say.
No, that's in there all the time. And then back then, some people, like my mom, for instance, she wasn't sure. Jose, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
My
The
wife,
people
be
close to you.
careful.
Yeah.
So apart from my own internal voice, you have the external, and then you also have the positive. Well, not the negative and the positive. The people that encourage you because they believe you can do it. And my mom and my wife were coming from a point of protecting me.
Right.
My voice is still there. Look, Carms, today when I woke up, my inner talk was a bit negative. That's why I just work proactively to shake it off and focus on the great things.
How do you
So
shake
back
it off?
then,
Do you have a mantra, or what do you do to shake it off?
well, as I said initially, depending on the day I'm having, it can be a bit of music. It can be just looking at my cat and appreciating that little creature. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
No,
I just take
that's
a deep
important,
breath.
because people may get stuck, and so that's kind of the strategies that you naturally do, but they might just have no idea, right? So it is actually worth that, talking about that, right? It's like, okay, it could just be actually looking at your cat and appreciating you have the pet and the bonding there. So it's being really present about that.
Absolutely. There are many ways, but yes, as I said, music is one of them.
Mm.
Some mantras, sometimes I play something I like on Spotify, for instance. There are many people that share affirmations, and they get me thinking about my own way of doing things. Look, I like to go back and then look at where I started, look at where I am today. And then once I realize where I am today, I take that energy forward.
I
There's
love
no
that.
way.
I don't want people to miss that either. You just said you look at where you were, and then you're basically giving yourself like a pat on the back, right? As you travel along. Whereas many people could look at their what's behind them and actually get trapped. It's like all the bad decisions I made, because it's always like you can look at it one way or the other way, right? So it's awesome to hear you say, okay, when you look back, you actually go look at all the things that I've achieved. So you're really focused on the progress you've made.
Yes. And you know what? I also have, this is very important for me, and I used it differently in the past. Time is limited. And because time was limited, I started doing loads of dumb things. Now, because time is limited, I focus on doing the things I love the most. So I have no time for that negativity. I listen to it because it's there, but then I stop.
I think it's switched for you. Because when we are young, we tend to not value time as much, right? At some point, we value it a lot more. Do you think it's we just get wise, or like if someone, so like I'm in my 40s, so it's like if someone is much younger, right, and they don't see it yet, what advice can you give them to value time more? Because I understand where you're coming from, but like I think if we could impart some wisdom to someone else that haven't quite seen that yet, what can we do?
Well, here is something that is coming to mind, because when it comes to this, I have almost like two opinions. But one could be, look, if you continue doing what you're doing today and you are 20, what will life look like, and what will you look like when you are 40? Okay, if you're not happy with that, what changes can you begin to implement? That is one way to look at it. But then when I answer this question, Carms, I just go back and think, had I not done all of the things that I did in the past, I wouldn't be the version you are seeing today. So at the same time, I just think, wow, but it is also important to go through all of that in our own way.
That is true.
So that's why I'm in two minds when it comes to answering this question.
Yeah, so the takeaway for the listeners would be you do want to take a slightly longer view perspective on where you want to go, even though it could be vague. Like we may not plan everything out to a T type thing. We just don't know, right? But it's like the mistakes we've done in the past. It's like, no, so I'm hearing it's like noticing those things helped shape us, even if they were dumb decisions. It's like it's those dumb or silly decisions that made us wiser. Without those, we wouldn't be resilient or like picked ourselves back up from the floor and know, okay, we should make better decisions going forward. Yeah.
Correct. And I think that's a good compromise in there, I would say, in terms of the two.
Okay. What about when it comes to like emotions? So if we're facing difficult times, I know you talk about like harnessing like emotion in leadership, right? How can people be more centered? Like when something's ticked them off for the day, what are some strategies we can stay grounded?
Oh, when something ticks you off. Wow, so many things that can tick us off. I always like, since I'm speaking about intention, and one of my intentions when it comes to human interactions is to leave people a little bit better off after interacting with me. And I carry that with me and I remind myself of it. What happens is, since I have clarity in terms of where I'm going with what I'm doing, then if something ticks me off, I can use that to interrupt my emotions and go back to that logical thinking. Hey, what do I really want out of this interaction? Am I behaving in a way that's congruent with my initial intention? And that is one of the best ways for me, because I'm already very mindful as to what I want to do. So if I lose my way and my emotions take over, of course, take a deep breath, stop. I always encourage people to slow down their thinking and their speaking in order to see what's going on. And then, reconnect. What is that thing that you want to do? What is the impact you want to have? That is one that I keep on reminding myself.
Yeah, when you talk about being congruent, what are your top 3 values?
Well, I would say for the business, consistency is one of the main ones in terms of my actions, but consistency of my behaviors as well. So then consistency, authenticity is a key one, always being me in that sense. And empathy could be another one.
Yeah, nice. I love that. Do you think that's like that goes across like both life and business?
Yeah, being empathetic, being authentic, yes. And one of the
Yeah.
things because I am, I mean, if you come home, you will see the same person, maybe behaving slightly differently depending on the topic and the context, but you will see me. You will see me, the business owner, and you will see me, the person that goes out there and spends time with friends and with family. You will still see me, and that's important.
Yeah, if someone isn't consistent now, like whether that's going to the gym, whether that's working on their business or, you know, whatever goals they have, and they're not being consistent, how did you work on being consistent?
Whoa. That's why it is so important to find that thing that we really enjoy doing. And in a way, fight if you want to use the word fight, or follow it, be pulled by it, whatever that might be, but find that thing. Because Carms, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I think about is the things I do on a daily basis: preparation, learning something, going to an exercise because I know it's going to keep me healthy. And all of that has to do because, well, all of that is connected with that intention that I want to impact people. And I want to be an example as well. So I'm working on that. And it does feel like work sometimes because I'm human and I get tired. Yeah. But most of the time it's just like, yeah, come on, let's do this.
Yeah. I love that you have like quite a holistic approach, and I can see it in your character as well, right? Like, you know, body, well, you know, it's like people that you can tell like all the different aspects of their life that they're quite balanced. If someone is a bit like unbalanced in an area, how can they take like, because I would imagine people would be consistent at least in, you know, one of the major areas in their life. how can they take that consistency across to another area? Like maybe they're really good at business and finance and they're good with their family and friends, but they haven't been able to work on their health, for example. Then how do you think they can shift that across?
Well, first of all, we cannot do it all. So I don't think we can be consistent in every area of our lives. Something has got to give, okay? Cost of opportunity, first of all, okay? I want the listeners to think about that. And then start analyzing what are the 3 key most important areas of my life, of your lives, people listening. And then pick and choose. For me, number 1, relationships. And relationships involve business relationships, the people around me, my friends, my wife. Then if I want to enjoy those relationships, I need health. So the next one is watch what you eat, Jose, and exercise more regularly. Take care of yourself. Up here in your mind and in your body. Great. And the third one, well, you know, most of the time I spend it working. Let me keep on creating that version of the work I want to pursue. And that also brings money to invest in my health and spend time with my relationship. So those are my 3. Do I want to be consistent on something else? Oh, I don't know. Could I? Oof, I don't know.
When it comes to like eating, what's your diet like? Do you have cheat meals, or do you eat anything you like? Like, do you eat fried chicken? Do you drink Coke? Or are you like pretty well balanced meal kind of guy?
No, if you join one of my sessions, you will see that, you know, I deliver my content, but I speak about a bit of everything sometimes, yeah, depending on that moment. That's the same with my food. Depending on the moment I'm going through, let me just explain this a bit better. I don't think I did well enough. If I'm going at the moment through XYZ situation in my life, I may explain it or use it as a story during my session in order to highlight some of the points. For instance, well, the same, depending on the moment I'm going through, I can go and wake up in the morning and drink a green juice or a green smoothie and have some avocado and toast, and that's it, and a lot of water. Or there might be the day when I wake up, oh, there's some, you know, fry up from last night. Oh, let me just have that as well. So that's me.
Yeah. So you do a bit of both. You're not like super strict diet. But yeah, sounds like you've got some pretty healthy meals.
Yes.
I don't drink green stuff, but what about the gym? Are you like a everyday gym guy, or what's your gym routine, exercise routine?
I'm an everyday business owner, and I'm an everyday husband. That's what I'm every day.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, and that takes a lot of my energy. That's why that consistency, I cannot replicate it everywhere, because I think I'll go crazy. I couldn't manage, at least not now. So yeah, when it comes to the gym, twice a week. But then I try and I do my best to stick to twice a week. But I don't do gym anymore. I do CrossFit.
Oh, okay. Why is that? What made you decide on CrossFit?
A little bit of external motivation. I recognized I needed it. Going to the gym, I never really liked the gym. I've always been into martial arts. I've always had like an instructor, a sensei, someone in there, a mentor. So when I go to the CrossFit, apart from doing it with my wife, which is a good opportunity for bonding.
Is it a group session?
Yeah, so those are group sessions, and we have like a couple of coaches helping us, and you do about an hour and then you are knackered. It's so intense that I cannot think about my emotions. I cannot think about work. So it's perfect for interrupting the pattern of the day.
Ah, okay. Do you do meditation and that as well?
No, I don't do that too often. No.
You find that the CrossFit kind of allows you to have that mental space of like just shutting down other thoughts.
It shuts down everything. I cannot even think, which is great. It's better for me, better than meditating, because I cannot think and I'm only focusing on how I'm breathing, how I'm managing my energy. So I'm very much in connection with myself. It's a good experience, personally.
Yeah. And has that been like a very strong routine for you for a long time? Like the going to the gym regular? I'm asking because I've only just started going to the gym like for the past few months consistently.
I was lucky. I don't know. I had the influence of my uncle, my mom's brother, when I was growing up, and he was always encouraging me to be healthy, to go to the gym, to exercise.
Oh, nice.
So I started martial arts when I was 5.
Wow, that's so cool. It's awesome that you had like these people that are close to you that are quite encouraging. That's very lucky.
Well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I am. Yeah, thank you. I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I'd love to just wrap it up with like, can you give the listeners like maybe 5 key things to be good leader that can influence, with positivity to the world?
Yes, I will. Absolutely, I will. I'm going to start by telling people to remember to slow down. Okay, we live in a world that's a bit crazy and out of control on occasions, and there is only so much we can control, but we can control our thinking, and we can practice to start controlling our speaking as well. So let's just focus on slowing down what's going on in here more often, okay, to be more present as well. That'll be the first one. The second one, even if it's not the right one, start setting an intention for your days, okay? Whatever that might be, give it a go. If it doesn't work, then think about something else. As I said, for me, it's to leave people better off. And I'm hoping that by the end of this time together with Carms, hey, I'm feeling a little bit better off in this way or that way. And if it didn't work, let me know, drop me a message or say, I'm not a bit better off today, so you failed. Hey, that's feedback for me as well. So be ready for feedback and learn from it and implement quickly. The third one, and I think I've given you a few tips already in those two.
Yeah.
Become a human explorer. As a leader, an international leader, a human explorer, exploring yourself and at the same time exploring others to understand what makes them tick. How can you motivate them? How can you impact them positively? Be an ongoing learner. Always learn, not just from books, but from experiences, from those human interactions as well. And be a stretcher. What do I mean by a stretcher? Always find a way to stretch yourself, step out of that comfort zone, be a little bit more courageous, try something that scares you, there to mess up more often, learn from it, and yeah, keep on experiences these things day in and day out, and you will get to places you would have even imagined. You would have never imagined. Yeah, there we go. My English playing me in there.
Anything else?
Wow, you want some more? What else have I got for you people? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good now. Nothing else is coming to mind.
Those are really good. Top 3 tips from Jose there. So, okay. So if anyone wants to hear more, well, get your book or hear more about what Jose Ucar does, where's the best place to find you?
Well, I don't know if people will know what Google is.
Yeah, of course. Which social media platform would be the best, or which link?
Look, very simple. It was a silly joke, the Google one. If you type my name in Google, Jose Ucar, there aren't many Jose Ucars in the world. I think there's me and there's my dad. Oh. And then you will, yeah, so exactly. So you will find the book, Global Influence. You will find my website, which is joseucar.com. You will find me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And you will find loads of different articles that I've written throughout my time. There is also something that I don't tend to promote enough because I forget, which is the World-Class Communicator. This is an online course that I created during the pandemic to help people transition during that period. And it's free. It's available. If you go to my website, World-Class Communicator, you can sign up for it. Awesome. Yeah, that's a great piece of content that I made available for people. So
cool. I'll make sure I'll drop the link in when I release this. Great having you. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. People, I have to say, keep on smiling the way in which Carms does. She's amazing. You've been fantastic, Carms. Thank you so much.
Excel in life, live your purpose, be free.